Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Are You Crypto Investor, the channel you subscribe to have the latest news and real stories about real people that are making it in crypto. Today we have with us Travis Mazzeo, straight from California. He's a trader investor since last year, and he's going to share with us how's it been for him so far. Travis, tell us.
Hey, how's it going? It's been interesting. It's been really interesting, actually. It's something that it's like you learn by trial and error, and some of it's been bad, some good, but most of the bad decisions were just from not knowing what to do and selling at the wrong times or buying in at the wrong times. But it's a real cool thing. It's a lot of people ask, or they're really skeptical of it, and I was one of the most skeptical people. But one of my friends showed me how to get set up with Voyager one time, and she showed me what to do and link my bank account, and it's just you're there trading and investing already, and you could withdraw money. And it's like once you do it and you could see the concrete evidence of it, it's pretty amazing, because a lot of people are just scared to trust it because they think, well, it's not real money. How's it gonna, how does this work? And I'm like, just trust me. Like, it is real money. It's just, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's simple, when you think about it.
Yes, so I guess, your very first platform was Voyager.
Yeah.
How did you find when you just first started?
My friend, she was really getting big on Doge last year when it started going up a lot, and I kept hearing my friends talk about it, and then I was like, man, I don't want to miss out on this. And so I just hit her up one day, and I was like, show me what to do. I can't figure it out. And so, she told me the app to get, and most of the apps you can get in Google Play or the iTunes store.
Yeah.
And it's just simple, like, identity verification. That's one thing too. People get kind of freaked out when, they ask for the ID verification or, to see the copy of your driver's license. But that's actually a good thing. Like, if a place isn't asking for your ID, it might be a scam. Like the trusted ones are the ones that want to know who you are. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So so since that time up to now, are you still on Voyager? Are you exploring other platforms?
Oh yeah. I got really big on crypto.com now because they have so many different assets to pick from, and it's nice. People, if they want to not link their bank account, you can use a debit or credit card, and then you get the crypto.com Visa card for free. You could pretty much just transfer your crypto onto there and use it for US dollar. It's cool. So
yes, I guess so. Every time you use it, you have cash back in Bitcoin, is it?
Yeah. It's the CRO token, but that's pretty cool because that thing like skyrocketed the last month, and it's probably just going to get better and better since the Staples Center changed their name. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Was it the Lakers arena or something?
Yeah, it's called the Crypto.com arena now.
Yeah, it's obviously pretty big. What were your biggest challenges when you started? You just logged in. You just downloaded the app. She showed you how to move around. But then, what were your first initial struggles?
The first ones were probably just like I got in at a weird time, like a really good time when it was just like going crazy. So it was like really easy at the time. But then when it has corrections or the volatile market will go way down a couple of days or up, it's like. It messes with your head a little bit, but it's one of the things where you just learn over time that you don't really let it bother you anymore. You really have to get used to it because, the stock market is a lot more steady, but you don't get as much gains and opportunities in there. But that's the biggest thing I noticed. If don't ever panic sell, because it's always going to go back up most likely to where you bought it at. It's just, it's hard not to when you see the money going down, but the biggest rule of thumb for me is like if you don't lose any amount of coins, you don't lose any money yet. That's the hard thing is when you sell and then you have to buy it back and it's more and you have less, you're like, oh man, yeah.
Do you have any strategy to time the market, or are you constantly buying and selling, or you're a long-term trader? What's your strategy?
I'm trying to hold on to a lot of Solana right now. Solana is going to be huge. I think it's going to knock out Ethereum in the end. I mean, 2022 is going to be a big year. I mean, I've used a lot of it to pay bills when times were tough. It's been awesome, but I try to hold a lot too, because, you know, I don't want to waste it all right now. It's going to keep going up. And I mean, just this strategy I use is a lot of times I look at the candlestick charts and, you know, I really see when they're on a big decline, like that they carve out a bottom is what they call it, you know, when the price is really low.
Yeah.
And like I try to get anything while it's like at its bottom price usually. And it's kind of just like a feel for you start to kind of see what the normal price are of different tokens, and you know, when you see it going down a lot, it's a good opportunity to buy, you know. And then it's kind of like a having self-control thing. When it's going up a lot, sometimes you just have to wait. Like, as much as I want to buy something when it's having a rally, I'm like, I should wait, you know, because it might be popped out at, you know, at the top of its bubble right now, and you know, it's better just to wait a couple days.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you manage, in this case, how do you manage your FOMO? Like, every time you see, you're like fear of missing out. You're like, you know.
Yeah, it's sometimes I just have to not look at it, or, you know, if sometimes if there's like another, you know, like I'll have like SHIB, or just, there's all kinds of, I mean, there's so many that I'll get, you know, here and there, you know. If it's like, okay, I'm just like have money that's stagnant in one crypto, I'll just, you know, I'll buy another one that's going up right now just to make a few bucks, and then yeah, kind of like the day trading theory, you know. And what I love about crypto is it's like I tried to get into, you know, stock market investing and Wall Street, and it was really confusing to me, and it's really kind of like a pretentious, like some prestigious thing people make it out to be, that you can't get any advice or really information about what you're doing on there. So it was like a foreign language to me, and that's what I love about crypto. It's like, you know, it's for people, you know, you can control it, or else you could even use brokers, or, you know, like the grayscale Bitcoin. People trust it more, but it's all up to you. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I started, as you probably know, I started in Wall Street, S&P 500, Forex, commodities, and, you know, but definitely crypto. I mean, I even love the fact that you can trade 24/7 if you want to. So to me, it's like, you know, it's really, really good. Sometimes, I mean, I you know, even recently, so to speak, I had this fear of missing out on the central end, because I wasn't a big believer, and I saw it going up. Same happened with X Infinity. I saw it going up, and I wasn't a believer. I thought it would just, you know, it would be too late for the time, and it continued going up. And when you see something like that, sometimes it's hard to, you know, how do I say, like, to, you know, to manage your emotions, and like, do you go in, do you don't, do you wait? Did you invest any of those stuff like Metaverse?
I had some. I have a little bit now, but I had a lot of Luna when it was like $7.
Oh my goodness!
And then it went to 14, and then it went down to like 5 or 6, and I'm like, whatever, I'll get it later. And then I just kept watching it go up, and I'm like, oh man, but the FOMO, the fear of missing out, is tough, because it's you know, I mean, it's like you don't want to. It's like right there, and you're missing out on it. But what I've learned too is that there's always going to be another one, you know. There's a lot of new projects coming up, like weekly and monthly, daily sometimes, and you know, there's a lot of competition, you know, different networks competing with each other now, which is good. So it's really cool to see, like the ones that are going to be big too, I think, are Harmony and IoTeX, and what else is there? I mean, there's the Seller Network, the Contentos, you know, like. I made a little bit on that a few weeks ago when it really spiked up. That was really cool. Because ones like that are great. When it's like 3 cents a coin, you know, it's you can get like hundreds of thousands of them, thousands of them sometimes. And
Yeah.
you know, when it goes up a penny, it's like $1,000 a penny. You know, if you have a certain amount of coins, that's what's cool. It like multiplies. It's an awesome thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you spoke like on a few projects. So what's your, if someone is now like listening and thinking, wow, I mean, this guy knows so many different projects. How does he find these gems? What's your strategy to find these gems? Do you read a lot every day? Like,
I just a lot of them, I'll go to their websites and their actual networks, and then, you know, kind of see what it's about and what they do. And you know, it's cool. Like anybody could pretty much create their own cryptocurrency if they want to. On a lot of these projects like Solana or you know, even Ethereum or anything, that's a lot of people don't understand. It's not just like a Bitcoin, a form of payment. It's like a whole application where you could, if you wanted to, you could make your own currency and you could make other projects or protocols. There's lending services, there's exchanges. It's such a big world out there. Like, you know, I don't even know that much about it, but I've known a lot about it so far. There's still so much every day that I'm finding out about.
yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, we know that, like, you know, one of the ways like people that are starting one of the favorite ways that people usually say is like they scout for hours CoinMarketCap, reading all sorts of projects. They go obviously to the ICO calendar, checking new projects, see which ones have good tokenomics, a trustworthy team behind them, because obviously that's quite important. Rug pulls happen on a regular basis, and that's because people don't do their homework. Or they see like these crazy videos on YouTube as well. Promising 1000x. You know, something like that. But yeah, I mean, nowadays you can create your own coin. I mean, as many of you guys already know, myself and a partner from London we are creating. Very soon we will announce that we are creating our project on top of Polygon. So it's going to be on the Polygon chain, Matic. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have a problem that you think you could find a solution of the real world, and blockchain is something that could help and have good idea, you can build your own platform, your own, you know,
It's really cool. That's cool. I want to check that out. I want to get into some of that. Polygon's a good network too. They're really good. Well, one of the big things too is like, you know, Ethereum. It's crazy, man. Like it's outrageous. Like one thing that scared a lot of people away after the Shiba token was the gas fees on MetaMask and Ethereum, and that's when I really started digging into a lot of other networks, and then started using Solana. And it's like once I did it a few times, that like I'll never go back. You know, the transactions are like maybe like 5 cents a transaction or 50 cents instead of like $20 that might fail, it might not. And it's I kept hearing Mark Cuban just talk about it like every day for some reason. Like last year, Solana, when it was $13 and I started buying some, you know, then it had that big month where it went up to like 200, and I was like, wow. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, this is another way of checking like perhaps projects that you know, can skyrocket. I mean, I found Terra Luna by accident. I mean, I knew the project, but I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't very aware of it. And I don't know if it was Michael Saylor or Will Paul, one of these big guys, or Mark Cuban even, I don't know. I was listening to one of them on an interview, and they said, you know, this was early on, but they were already saying that the big three will end up being Solana, Ethereum, and Terra Luna. And I thought, wow, Terra Luna, my goodness. I thought you would say Cardano or something, or I don't know, any other. So that was quite a shocker to me. So I digged, and then I found it. So it's been a very profitable platform to me so far, like to invest in. You got good returns already on Luna, I guess, as well. Since
that's what's cool. Is like any normal person like me can like anybody out there. You don't have to have some type of special degree or certification. That's what I love about crypto too. Is anybody could do it. Yeah, and it's you know,
democratization of money.
Yeah, I try to explain to people like the best way to describe it is think about the internet in the 90s, you know, like Google and all those big companies and Amazon that were like, they sounded like really outrageous, you know, like extravagant ideas, but now look at them.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty much what this is like, or it's like the stock market is in 1920s, you know, it's like the new version of it that it's like, get on now, because it's just it's a big opportunity. And it's already, people ask like, you know, how is it real? It's already being used in a lot of our financial systems already. I mean, the concept of like credit cards and debit cards and, you know, the electronic banking, that's pretty much what crypto is. You know, where it's like, people are like, well, I don't see it, I don't have the money. It's like, well, what about your bank account and your, you know, debit card? You don't see the money there, but it's there. Like,
it's true. It's real.
All the assets are still backed up. You know, like you said, the shit coins or the rug pull coins are the ones that you really got to do the research on and look into, because they, you know, it's easy to go to like a website and get what is it called? They're like the demo pages. I've seen some of the crypto projects. It's literally just a demo page from some website builder. You know, and they just use it and they put like different words in it, but then there's nothing, you can't get a hold of anybody from it.
They use kind of templates, just mainly templates from others, and it's just like, sadly, lots of people, they fall into those traps. They make one-way wallets where, you know, you deposit into their investment firm and then you can't withdraw. It sucks, but it's definitely. You know, I mean, you see like more and more guys like Bill Gates and others, you know, guys like Jack Dorsey, you know, and many others, Mark Zuckerberg and others, saying that, you know, the triangle for the social revolution 5.0, apparently we are on the 4.0, but the triangle is not complete. All that we needed for the social revolution 5.0 has been achieved, being we got the internet, we got AI, and now we got blockchain technology. So that's what they think it's now. So this triangle is now complete, and it's now going to take us, you know, to a whole, you know, new, you know, dimension. And of course, blockchain was a huge step towards that. I guess the metaverse in it somehow is going to play a big role.
I know that the metaverse is something I still, you know, it's like, it's a crazy concept to me still even, but I mean, I'll invest in some of it when you know, because you can make money off it, but I mean, I don't know if I'll be shopping with goggles from my house, you know, like later on, but it's definitely something, some of it's pretty cool. You know, a lot of the whole gaming industry, man, the whole generation of kids today, and like the Axie Infinity, things like that, where, you know, you don't think much of it, and then you see the price of it, and you're like, wow, you know, these kids are.
And it's growing like crazy, man. It's like, obviously, we are now through a correction. We are moving sideways and actually being corrected right now. But still, I mean, it's still growing a lot. I mean, and the later we join the party, the higher you know, the prices will be. I remember Axie being quite cheap at the time that I was skeptical, and now it's you know, it's you pay a pretty penny to.
Something with Decentraland, you know, it was like 60 cents a month ago, and I had a feeling about that one though. Like the more I looked into it, because it reminded me of Sim City, that video game you used to play when I was a kid, and you know, that was just a game. We didn't get paid for it or anything, but now it's the blockchain is integrating payment and money into it. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw Raoul Paul in an interview this week, and Raoul Paul said that now his biggest holdings is Bitcoin. The second one is no longer Ethereum, and everyone was like, "Oh my goodness, what is it then?" Sandbox.
Oh wow! Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness, it's like, and for many, this is still like borderline insanity if you don't really understand the concept. But have you tried the Sandbox? Have you digged into it?
Yeah, I've looked into it. They're involved in a lot of projects and the whole metaverse space. You know, more than I thought. Yeah, Sandbox is interesting.
is one of those that I'm considering to spend some time, and actually some money start to layer in, because of all of those that I've been checking, it's probably one of the ones I'm more confident on the long term. Decentraland as well. Axie Infinity is, it may be the best thing in the world, but it's just not the type of thing I can see myself investing. Maybe I'm not, maybe for sure I'm wrong, but I just
I know
really Axies and
it's pretty amazing what. Well, it kind of reminds me of like the Beanie Babies or the you know, like collectible toys people would get when, you know, you're younger. Now it's just a virtual type one. Yeah. And you know, it's crazy, but yeah, it's cool. I mean, there's so much money out there that's just up for grabs pretty much. I never realized it till last year. You know, the more I learned about investing, and you know, it's cool. I mean, the concept is you're pretty much investing in a lot of these companies to get off the ground or to function, and you know, it's like it's a giant profit sharing. You know, when you want to sell it, if the price is up, you get to sell your shares of it. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah, man, it's true. And yesterday we were talking about the S curves or adoption curves for many of the technologies, and you know, it's been already done so much in this space that even so, we are nowhere near main adoption or mainstream. Let's call it mainstream. We are still a few years away. So for all of you that may be thinking, maybe it's too late, maybe, you know, these guys are saying this or that project has gone up so much, maybe it's too late. It's not, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, no, not at all. It's not late at all. I mean, it's so early in the stages of, you know, I mean, like, and there's a lot of the networks too, like I mentioned earlier, like IoText and the Contentos and even Solana. Solana is going to be like I think it's going to be huge in the, you know, over time, like in 10,000, 20,000, you know, who knows what it could be, but they've got a whole exchange platform, Soldex, that's going to launch, you know, that's supposed to be like a new, they call it the third layer. It's like a new version of its type, or it's like a whole new type of platform, I guess, using like AI, the artificial intelligence for trading, to where it's going to be more accurate and you know, more easy for people to use, I hear. But I got some of that because it's right now the Solex token is only like 7 cents each, so it's yeah, I mean, even people get scared when they see Bitcoin because it's such a big number, like, you know, $50,000, and you know, it's like, it's kind of like, yeah, I get it, but it's, you know, you got to understand there's a lot of other smaller ones that are growing, you know, that have potential to grow. And even Bitcoin, it's just like gold, you know, it's like you're paying top dollar for the best one, but you know, it's more steady and going to stay up there more, but it's like a store of value that if you want to get some Bitcoin, that's like buying gold pretty much. Yeah,
amazing hedge against inflation, which obviously is plaguing all of us, be it US, be it here in Europe. Canada is, you know, they are suffering a lot with inflation too. So it's, you know, it's the best hedge you can have.
Yeah,
well,
I kind of thought like the whole shutdowns and the stuff that people got political about it, but last year the COVID thing was one of the best things that happened over here in the US, because a lot of people were home and a lot of people, you know, found a better solution, you know, to make money or make ends meet, and it blew up last year huge. You know, it was amazing. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even here we heard a lot of times, I don't know if that was true. We heard a lot saying like guys were using the what do you call it, those incentives given by Trump to buy Bitcoin. So there was lots of people, I guess, buying Bitcoin and doing well. And yeah, I mean, it may look, it is expensive, but one is the best hedge you can have against inflation. That's unanimous, you know, within the top wealth managers in the world. And, you know, most of them, they believe, like, you know, they swear that this will, over the next 4 years, reach to $1 million per coin. So we are, I don't know, at this moment, we're probably like 48 at the moment or something like that. I'm not with the chart next to me, but so, I mean, we are nowhere near, you know, the top. That's top, obviously. And there's only 10% left on the circulating supply. So 90%.
Yeah.
So it's done. So 10% left. And then, as you guys know, it's parabolic. It's not direct proportional. So it's really parabolic once it goes off. Mainstream, we're reaching 3 to 4 years. So make the maths. It's adoption. I heard this morning. I was reading an interview, and James from Invest Answers. He was saying that the crypto world is growing at 113% a year.
Mm-hmm.
So if basically you are every year you are doubling. So it's doubling every year. So once again, it's going parabolic too. Guys, it's not late at all.
Yeah, it's like I'm not like a advisor or anything, but it's like I don't ever see it going down and turning into nothing. It's way too big to turn into nothing now. It's always going to be around, and it's awesome, man. This last probably 6 months, I've seen a lot more adoption methods, in companies and networks, and it's a lot more convenient and easier now is what's cool. I mean, there's online places that'll, you could use a few different cryptos to make a payment if you want to, and now they have the Bitcoin ATMs at places.
Yeah.
And just making it a lot more available for people to get,
Yeah, definitely.
More friendly and more, because a lot of people, I mean, when it's my money too, it's like, you don't want to just throw your money away into something that could be a ripoff, but it's not, it's for real, and it's the future of our money, I think.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, there is no doubt. I mean, it's and Travis, did you need any sort of? I mean, you said already, obviously you didn't have to necessarily study to be doing so well. But is there any? Do you look at charts at all? Do you think it's needed? Do you think people need to be good at charts, or are they going to be doing well, providing they do very good fundamental research?
The fundamental research is good too, and like for me, like the real-time research is always nice. It's something some people say like, oh, I'm gonna buy it and just look at it, next year. I'm not even gonna look at it. It's like for me, sometimes I gotta look at them every day because you could miss a lot in a couple of days. And I'm looking at least daily to see what things are at, and because that's what's cool about crypto is. What could be good or bad is, a lot can happen in an hour or 2 hours or a day. Some days if you miss out, you're like, dang. And then other days that you catch it, it's good. And one thing I learned to do is not get too attached to different coins I have or something. Like for a while, like I'd be scared to sell something, like it would never be there again. But it's, I learned that, when the market crashes, I don't know if I'd say it's crashes, but it's like corrections, when everything will go down in price for a little bit. I kind of laugh at it now, and I'm just like hoping for it to go lower to buy more again. But
it's sales. It's an opportunity to buy more.
You learn not to get too attached to them, and if one's high right now, just sell it. Trust me, it'll be lower, next week maybe it'll have some type of correction. It's always good too. They say don't use it to pay your bills or invest what you can't afford or whatever. And, I've done a little bit of both, and it could be stressful when, that's some of your money that you have to pay bills. But when you don't have a choice, sometimes it paid off for me. Luckily, I mean, I've lost money, made money, but, at the same time, there's some things where I'm like, man, I wish I blew up the motor on my truck. I had to get a new motor. That was like $5,000, but it's like being able to do it is what's nice, Like I'm like I never would have been able to afford that before.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean and it's changing many lives around the world. I mean, we hear from guys in the Philippines and other places where without crypto they would be totally screwed, and now they are finally they are getting back on track. Thanks to crypto. They are not doing technical analysis, which is a myth that you have to be good at it. So they are not doing it. Most of the guys we hear, they are basically reading a lot, which anyone can read, obviously. Reading a lot, checking the fundamentals. It would help, obviously, if you would be able to read some charts. it's obviously it's there for something, for a reason.
Yeah.
But it's not, let's say, it's not mandatory that you have to be good, putting 10,000 indicators on the chart. I personally like the charts very clean. I don't use like 10 or 20 on the same chart, make it very confusing.
I like the simple ones, like the candlestick one, and then just a regular graph one that really shows like how high and low you're going. And a lot of it's just basic math to me. When I look at something like when my friend Jessica will ask me like, how much should I buy of this? How much? And I was like, plug some numbers into it. Just, look at the price of it now and think, if I buy this amount, X amount of this, how much will it be if it's at this price? Yeah. And then, you kind of can see like a realistic number, and then, sometimes it looks good to be true, but it is good. It is true.
Yeah, I mean, it's like sometimes people ask if they would have to learn. I don't know if Jesse asked you or that one or not, but like usually we get a lot of questions like something like, if I would have to learn one indicator to put on the graph, on the chart, which one would be? And to be honest, sometimes I say one, depending on who I'm talking to. Sometimes I might say the other, but usually, I've seen guys we have trained doing really well just with the RSI, so the normal chart, the normal candlestick plus the RSI, and sometimes the candlestick chart plus the moving averages, nothing else. So
that's what I use.
Moving averages. That's what the name says. It's the averages. So if you buy at a good price, surely,
Yeah, it gets complicated. I mean, I see all these numbers with the guys putting the lines at the different points and stuff, and a lot of them aren't totally accurate most of the time too. So that's why it was hard for me to really buy into that, because I'm like, you never know some days. I mean, the farm token, the harvest finance, and I woke up this morning and it's like 150% since yesterday. I'm like, holy smokes. Like, it's like, it's one of those things where a lot of times if one starts to really rally and then people like find out and they start buying it, like you have those crazy days or nights where, a couple days, something will just go up a couple 100%, people are buying into it just because they found out about it. It's awesome, man. That's what I like about not being Wall Street or regulated as heavily as, it's at your own will pretty much and your own risk.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, do you play a lot with limit orders, or do you do everything yourself at the time?
I've done some limit orders on Voyager. They're really helpful, actually. I mean, that's a really good way for people to make sure they don't lose too much money on things, because you can, like, I call it like stopping the bleeding. If something is starting to go down in the price, you could set that to stop it, and that way it's not gonna lose money. If you don't want to, if you don't have the money to lose right there, then it's really good to do that, because you won't have to take too much of a loss.
Yeah, I mean, I think even from the profits point of view, sometimes if you are doing like day trading, I mean, let alone, obviously not if you're too much into scalping, but day trading or even swing trading with lots of, playing with lots of different stuff, I think it's helpful, because I found myself when I was starting, it would take a little bit of my heart, because sometimes I want to see it continue going up. Whereas in the beginning, I start deciding, how much do I want here? Is it 20%? Is it 10%? 15, whatever. I program it, and that's it. So, I put the limits, and that's it, for good or for bad. It will execute it.
Yeah, because it can get it's real tough sometimes. Like that's what I've had to do, is sometimes I've regretted holding on to something too long, or not getting it when I should have, and I'm just like, well, I mean, what do I really feel comfortable with? Like a lot of people say, like when you get too greedy, that's when it's you usually fail at it. But yeah, I've had to learn to do that, to where it's if it's going to keep going up, because it's eventually they'll come down, but it's really hard while it's going up, because you never know if it's going to stop. And I'm like, well, do I want to get out with what I made right now? I'm happy with it, or do I want to like risk it? But that's what's great. You could play it safe, or you could go risky if you want.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the, I mean, I have two portfolios. The one is just for, you know, buying and hodling almost forever. But I have another one where I do, you know, scalping, I do swing trade and all these things. And, you know, on that one, I'm definitely on that one not attached emotionally or anything to any of the assets I have there. And so I just check, you know, basically realistically, if I'm doing swing trading, not the day trading, but if I'm doing swing trade, realistically, how much is the swing going to go? Is it 20% realistically on that week? You know, 15, whatever it is, 30%, whatever it is. And then I just program the limit orders, and this way I can actually multitask, and I can just, you know, I have my head controlling rather than my heart on that portfolio. So I found it very useful.
It's a good idea to have like two portfolios actually. Like I got really hooked on the Math wallet when it came out because it uses all the different networks, but like an external wallet, you know, where there's certain ones I'll just send to there because, you know, you can't just cash them out on there. You have to send them back to an exchange first usually. So it's like, it's good. I hold those ones on there because I know I'm not going to get tempted to do anything. You know, they're there and they're safe and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I personally have my biggest bags on hardware.
That's a
because
good
I mean,
idea.
those amounts and those ones, I know I'm not going to touch it unless something like, you know, insane happens, but I'm not planning to. So all the other ones, then I have, you know, stuff on Celsius, obviously to have some passive income, you know, stuff, you know, assets staked. And the rest is just that portfolio where I do, you know, scalping in some cases, day trading, swing trading, but it's all like, I tend not to think too much with my heart, otherwise I may lose on some opportunities. And at the end of the day, if in 1 week you make good profit, good steady profits from those ones, if that is your job and if you don't have anything else you're doing, you know, it's good. You won't get all the trades perfect. That's fine. As long as overall it's worth it, then it's good. How do you see Travis 2022? Are you going to change any, you know, any strategy, anything in terms of how you do it?
I'm excited to see how it goes now. You know, now that I know a lot more and I've made mistakes and then had successes, so it's going to be, I think it's going to be a huge year. I'm excited for it, actually. I mean, it'll be interesting. And then I noticed too, like, you know, Christmas time and the beginning of the year and tax return season, you know, in general, the world spends a lot more money. And that's when it really took off last year. So I'm excited to see what happens, you know. I would tell anyone, try to get as much as you can of what you're, you know, getting into right now, because I think it's going to be a huge year.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it's obviously never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's, you know, number one rule of thumb. But I think 2022 is set to be an amazing year. Maybe starting off, like as you said, with this end of the year, beginning of the year. Then we have, of course, the Ethereum 2.0, you know, being launched, so to speak. And an amazing year, I guess, for Terra Luna, Solana. I hope for Cardano, as it was my first investment. It's still the one close to my heart.
I like Cardano. It amazes me how low the price is of it still. It's really underrated, you know, because it's a huge. Well, I think what happened is like that when they launched their mainnet upgrade, people thought it was like going to be the end result, but it wasn't the end result. It was just the developers being able to communicate and build their apps now. But now they're starting to come out, so 2022 is going to be a big year for Cardano too.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things are going to be like available, you know, the projects built on it. And I think SHIB might get to a penny. It could. After the other month when it got, you know, was only like 3 or 4 zeros, I'm like, man, this thing has actually got like, because once it goes, that's one of those things too, that when that starts to go, it'll just go for a week.
Yeah. I mean,
like, wow, you're amazed at it.
It's true. I have always joked with it, and I have always, you know, told people to stay away from it and not touch it with with, I don't know how you guys say it there, like, is it with a 10-inch pole or whatever?
Yeah, 10-foot pole. Yeah.
But the reality is, the more I read about the stuff, actually, I'm starting to get impressed. I'm sure you know. I mean, they are no one of the plans they have for 2022 is, for instance, to open their NFTs marketplace. That's going to be huge on Shiba. So Shiba to have their own NFTs marketplace, and they are going to. They have huge projects for DeFi. So you know, and they you know, it started as a meme coin, but the reality is they are doing a lot. They are not stopped. They are growing a lot. And one of the things that makes market capital move a lot, as everyone knows, it's the Metcalfe's law. So the more nodes or the more people that are added to the network, that is going to make it grow exponentially. So, you know,
they started doing the token burns too, you know, lowering the supply. That's been a big thing because people used to say, well, it's impossible for this, but it's, you know, the token burns, and then I mean, they have the Shiba swap that came out, and you know, the NFT and the gaming, you know, metaverse stuff they're getting into. A lot of people really put a lot into that. So I mean, you know, I don't think it's gonna go away now at this point. It's pretty crazy, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's bringing a lot of adoption. Yes, it is true that lots of people, perhaps even the majority, they started, you know, because it was a meme coin as a joke and whatever it may be the reason. But the reality is they haven't stopped. And the moment they realize, perhaps they realize, you know what, this is getting big, guys. We gotta bring more to the table to continue attracting more people and show the guys that meme coins can actually become, you know, they can become. Actually, Shiba is already big, but they can become huge and actually bring value or be, you know, of added value to, you know, societies, communities, to traders. So I think 2022 may be an amazing year for Shiba too. Yeah, it's, you know, and we are nowhere near the top or, you know, the maturity phase of any of the projects. So sky's the limit. Who knows? How this time next year? Who knows what we'll be saying? By the way, we got to schedule a session this time next year. So we got to compare the year and make the balance.
Definitely. Anytime,
definitely. Travis, any closing thoughts? Any tips to the guys listening?
I mean, I would any tips? I would, you know, I'd say just try it out and go for it. I mean, you don't have to start with big amounts of money is what's nice. And like I said, you can pay with a credit or debit card on crypto.com and make it easy. And there's so many, you know, there's really extreme and then really like, you know, low time or big time and anywhere in between where you could start with. And it's, once people start doing it, that's the thing is what I've noticed is when you do it, you start to believe it because it, you know, it's there and it's real. You know, it gets easier and gets better and funner to do, and you know, you can make more money, and that's the biggest thing. You know, it's like adoption of, you know, technology and making money. I mean, people want to have a good life, so.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. So far, you know, and to conclude our interview today, so your balance is positive, thumbs up for crypto.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching and staying with us today. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so, click on the bell to be notified of the new videos. Leave a like, comments below what are your favorite projects. If you like the tips, what else would you like us to touch on over the next videos? And see you on our next show. Stay well. Cheers.
Thank you.